Hey there, this is LA Calling, and you're watching Brutally Delicious with Bruce Moore.
Welcome to Brutally Delicious. I'm Bruce Moore. Today we've got a great show in store for you. We're going to go live to New Jersey and speak with the hard rock heavy trio Recovery Council. Stay tuned. We're going to see what they have cooked up for us today. Now that your new record, Plan, Do, Check, Act is complete, how do you feel about it? Are you satisfied with the outcome? Now, along those same lines, what's your writing process like? You guys all write together? You know the effort of one particular member of the band?
Well, I think we're really happy with this album. I myself am just thrilled to death because it's been a really good collaborative effort, and we're really excited to get it out there. And I really think that one of the things that we've really been able to capture on this album has really been, honestly, I think it's the musical chemistry. You can really hear it, and it amazes me when I hear it, even now, as many times as I've had to listen to it over and over and over again while doing editing or engineering or anything like that. But it still amazes me just how well it's all come together. I'm just really excited about other people here.
Yeah, I'm really happy that when we wrote these songs, they were developed live. They were developed live in rehearsal and then taken live so we could refine them before we went and recorded. That way, when recording process came, it was really just putting our parts down, refining them as much as we needed to get them to fit perfectly, and then when we go live, we're very close to what we put on the album. And each person's playing on this album stands out individually,
Yes.
but it all works really nicely as a cohesive unit.
I totally agree with that. One of the things that that we do, and it seems to work really well, is I'll put something together and bring it in, and of course, it's let them totally just put themselves into it, and totally just get it. It's like we all get to be ourselves. And it's worked so well for the three of us to be able to put ourselves into something individually, but as a product, it's really, really cohesive, and it's really come out well.
We're also having fun with it.
That's the bottom line.
Playing this stuff, I mean, like, we're really enjoying it. It's the songs are really like out there. It's like we're really like pushing ourselves into playing like something that when I listen to it afterwards, I feel like, wow, we're really playing something fun. We're really enjoying it. We're really, it all starts with an idea, and it's all, and it ends up like in your face, like there. It's like.
I know that the two albums that I think have my best drumming work on them are Gentle Stories and the new album, Plan, Do, Check, Act, because there are things I never even attempted to in any other band to ever put on recording because the bands I was in just didn't write like she writes. They don't write in the odd times, and with the ideas that we get very solid ideas to work with. That's what I like.
It's really cool.
Is that and I can develop my style and my playing within the framework that she gives me.
That's one of the really cool things about this, is that I think for each of us with this album we've really grown as musicians. I think for me too as a guitarist. I mean I'm originally a bass player, and as a guitarist and my work on this album has actually allowed me to stretch a little bit more, and I've pushed myself a little bit more now than I would have than I had on the last album. and anything prior to that, and I want to continue to do so because I think that for me personally, I mean, and I think that it kind of goes for all of us too. I always feel for me I always have room to improve, and I can always do better, try to do better, and just keep going forward. And I think when we do that, we find that we can really amaze ourselves.
What's the story behind the name of the band, Recovery Council?
Okay, well, the name actually kind of started out as a joke. We were driving through some small town in Ohio, and I saw this building in the middle of, I guess, their downtown area, and it had a big sign on it that said the Recovery Council. I thought, well, that's kind of interesting. I wonder what that is. And of course, I later found out that it was kind of like an AA sort of thing, or like a program to help people who are battling substance abuse or alcohol abuse. And of course, there's really nothing funny about that at all, but it's just kind of odd how the name stuck, because I sort of envisioned it at first as some kind of alt country band or something like that. Then it kind of stuck and evolved into what it is today.
This definitely is an alt country.
Yeah. More like stupid jazz.
What's the story behind the name of the record?
Well, Plan, Do, Check, Act actually comes from a concept by W. Edwards Deming, who is one of the founding fathers of quality engineering. And this is where I get all geeky on you. But actually it's interesting because it's a process that's defined as, planning out your work, going back and checking it out, executing your work, going back and checking it over, and then acting on any improvements, going back and reassessing. It's about assessment and reassessment, basically, on the road to continuous improvement. And honestly, I think you can apply that to just about anything. And for us, I think it has special meaning too, because, this album was kind of a reassessment of where we were, before recording this album, and, kind of taking an inventory of the things that we could improve on and executing on those. And it's a continuous process. And again, I think it can be applied to anything, but it really kind of made sense for this album.
What's the strangest thing that's ever happened to you on tour or at a show? Let's keep it PG-13, please.
Well, there is one event that really sticks out, and I think it sticks out for all three of us. We were actually supposed to have a show at another venue, and at the last minute, it ended up getting switched to what was a jazz venue. And if you've listened to our music, you kind of know that's not going to go over so well. So anyway, we have this show, and it's in a jazz venue, and the people who are going on before us are playing stuff like, Gershwin tunes and standards and all kinds of stuff. And then we go on, and it's like spinal tap. I mean, it's first of all, everyone's kind of doing this, and after the first song, the entire room was.
After the first song, the second guy goes, "You guys are a little loud." And to top it off, it was one of the worst house drum kits I've ever played on.
No doubt.
They said they had a full drum kit for a house kit. All I needed was snare, cymbals. So I bought snare, cymbal, snare, which is snare, cymbals, drum stool. That's what I usually bring. And I show up, and there's a bass drum, a broken snare drum, and a broken hi-hat stand, and one cymbal stand.
Oh my god.
And it was like, is there a tom? Anyway, the guy, and the sound guy says, yeah, I think I can find one. And he goes away and digs out of a closet this rusty, old, beat-up tom that he just throws on the bass drum. It's not even like the mount doesn't even fit, so it's like hanging off the bass drum like sideways, and I had to pull this stuff off on that kit, which was challenging, but not my favorite kit.
Another thing about that too, I remember there was I looked up at the ceiling, and it's like there was water coming out down there. I was like, there's water coming out. I was like, it wasn't raining. I was like, what the hell is this? And I kept trying to to dodge it, and then I broke a string. I mean, everything that could have possibly gone wrong that night.
Yeah, you were hoping that wasn't like the toilet upstairs leaking. It's like, yeah, that was one that I definitely remember.
No doubt.
Times are tough these days. When you're not touring or recording, you have a job.
Yeah, actually I do, and this is
Get a job, hippie!
This is where I geek everybody out again. I'm actually a systems analyst in the biotech industry. I work with laboratories to develop and perfect systems that they use when they analyze tests and reagents and stuff like that. It's pretty interesting, but it's interesting that the two can exist though. Like there's this weird dichotomy between like the science part of what I do and then the art part of what I do, which is the music. And honestly, the two coexist in a pretty symbiotic manner.
Especially on a new album.
Yeah.
I work with my family in a construction company that's based on the New Jersey area, so it's tough times right now. Oh, I'm also a teacher.
That's right.
I'm a
music teacher.
Yeah, music teacher. I teach some kids like guitar lessons and all that. So
It's cool.
Well, when I'm not with them, I do a lot of session work, and when I'm not doing that, I'm a stay-at-home dad. So I started a company a couple of years ago and sold that, and ever since then I've been mainly concentrating on doing whatever drum work I can come up with, so I really just try to keep that going.
If you were stranded on a deserted island, and you can only take 3 records to listen to for all eternity, what would they be? I know it's a tough one, but 3.
these 3 CDs I'd take would be Blood Sugar Sex Magic by the Red Hot Chili Peppers, Core by Stone Temple Pilots, and I don't know, maybe the Unplugged for Alice in Chains. That's one of my top 3, so it's a hard thing to pick, but I mean that's really what influenced me most.
Well, if I can't take the entire Rush catalog with me, I mean that could be a problem.
Choose.
Damn it. Actually, I'd probably take 2112, and because it would probably really inspire me while I was stranded on that island about breaking free and getting off that island. Anyway, let's see, Asia by Steely Dan I'd take with me, and probably Zen Arcade by Husker Du.
I'd have to say, if I had to pick one Rush album out of all of them, I guess I'd have to say Moving Pictures. Really makes me feel cliche.
Oh God, you're such a pose.
Disintegration from The Cure, that would be a must. And probably The Wall from Pink Floyd.
Do you consider yourself a foodie of sorts?
Well, I hate to say this because I like all different types of food, and I do like to do some, to experiment and experience different types of food. But, the term foodie sometimes has a negative connotation.
I think she's more like a food geek. Anything that would be geek would fit her.
What's next for Recovery Council?
Wow! We're gonna eat some pizza. Now we're gonna go see some stupid Christmas lights.
Wait a minute, I think we're talking about what's next in life. Not the immediate future.
They're gonna drink heavily and then vomit on the couch.
Whoa. And Jeff's gonna film it, so.
Yeah, so everybody can see. No, actually,
that'll be a different show.
We're really gearing up for 2013. Really going to start, hitting the shows.
Lots of shows.
Lots of shows to support the album. And also, we do want to take into consideration some of the stuff that didn't make it to this album, which will, certainly be in consideration for either a future release or, some upcoming material, depending on how it shakes out. But, we plan on staying really busy and just, really moving forward together as a band and making stuff happen.
We're gonna work on that concept out about Frankenstein's monster, right?
Oh.
Next.
Now we've come to the end of the interview. This is my favorite part. I'm going to join you in the kitchen to get cooked up for us today. So, you ready? Follow your lead.
Okay, so today we are going to be making mamoul. You probably wonder what on earth this is. I've spelled it a whole bunch of different ways because I don't know what the right spelling of it is. I've seen it spelled like all these different ways. Anyway, it means stuffed in Arabic, and it is a Middle Eastern dessert. It's like a butter cookie, and it has walnut or date filling in it. It's really, really good. Not too sweet, but really rich and filling. So we're going to need a couple of things to start out with. We're going to be making the dough and the filling. And for the dough, you need 2 cups of flour, a tablespoon of sugar, a cup of butter, and 1 tablespoon of milk. And for the filling, we're going to need 2 cups of ground walnuts or dates. This time around, I decided to use walnuts, so we're not going to have the dates in the picture this time around. 1/4 of a cup of sugar, a tablespoon of butter, and a teaspoon of rose water. And I'm actually going to use a little bit more rose water this time because honestly, it kind of cooks out when you have it in the oven and you don't get as much of the flavor of it. So, and also some powdered sugar for when we finish the cookies off. So, let's get started, shall we? Alright, so I got my butter here, and I've got 2 cups of flour, and I've also got a tablespoon of sugar, and this is the tablespoon of milk. So here's what we do. Get it all ground up there. This is our walnuts and our 1/4 cup of sugar. Now what these are, these look like glorified wooden spoons, but they're actually mamoul molds. And you can tell these are the real deal. They're made with wood. They have some really neat, intricate designs carved in them. And a lot of times what happens is to be able to distinguish between which ones have the dates in them and which ones have the nuts in them, so people don't accidentally get the one they don't like. They will primarily be in one of these or the other. I'm actually just going to use both of these for the walnuts, although a lot of times I might use this guy for walnuts and this guy for dates. Yeah, so these I actually kind of inherited from my grandmother. You can actually buy these at any Middle Eastern grocery store, a specialty store that might sell like Middle Eastern foods or something like that. I think I just inhaled some flour. So, it happens. But we have to get these nice and floured because the design on the inside, the dough can stick to it. So, you gotta be careful of that. So now that I've got these floured up, at least to some degree, I want to make sure I got these real well done. Alright. We're gonna take our dough and make a little ball. Nice little dough ball. I guess probably about a little more than an inch big, especially for the oblong one there. Now what we're going to do is we're going to press the dough down into the mold. And it can, you know, my hands aren't real floured, so it's sticking to the dough a little bit. Looks like there's a lot of flour in there because the dough's just falling right out. Alright, then we're going to take our filling and put that in. It's pretty cool. That's probably enough. Then we want to take a little bit of dough here also. Flatten that out. And you want to basically close up the little filling part. You want to be careful too not to get any of the filling exposed because it can stick to the pan. In our case, we're using parchment paper, so hopefully we won't have too much of a problem there. There we go. So see how nice that looks. Okay, now we're gonna beat that out onto there. Look how cool that looks. Awesome. Isn't that pretty? So, I'm going to continue to do the same thing. This time with our round guy. Now normally, like I said before, our round guy we might use dates with him. But, you know. I did not prepare any date filling, although you can use the dates instead of the walnuts, and you can also use orange blossom water instead of rose water. Just really depends on your preference. You know, a lot of different folks, Lebanese, Syrian, you know, people from Israel, people from all over the Middle East enjoy this pastry. And you know, they fill it with walnuts, they fill it with dates, they fill it with pistachios even. It just really depends on what you like. The walnut recipe really was the one that stuck with my family a lot. That was the big one in my family. So let's see. Got another little ball of dough here. And stick that over here like that. Yeah. A little bit of technical difficulties with that. That's okay. Take some time. Flour these again because we've already made one and we don't want the dough to stick, so we'll do some more here. The rose water is kind of a nice addition too. You could really smell it. Unfortunately, that smell does not translate to video, but you could really smell the rose water when you're making up this walnut mixture and putting it in the food processor. It smells really nice and floral. It's not the same as eating flowers, I assure you that. Now, when I was a kid, I used to hate this stuff because it wasn't sweet enough. Ah, gross. Mama, yuck. Can't we have chocolate instead? Why don't we just have chocolate chip cookies? Well, you know, I really didn't understand or appreciate, I guess. You know, kids usually don't. But I mean, a lot of kids do like this kind of thing. It's not too sweet. It's very buttery. But, you know, the sweetness comes from the sugar and the rose water and this walnut mixture. You know, walnuts are kind of sweet, you know. Ask a kid with an incurable sweet tooth about that. They're going to tell you that this just doesn't cut it. At least some of them might. I did anyway when I was a kid. You know, this is good too if you want to get out your aggressions. You know, aside from playing some heavy music. You can always press some dough into a mold and fill it up, and then give it a good whack on the parchment paper over there, and now you want to preheat the oven at 350 degrees because these aren't going to bake long. And the gang's all here. You know what? we go. We don't want to put it on too long. I think last time I only put it on for like 20 minutes or 22 minutes or something. Okay. Let's just do that instead. So roll that beautiful Mamu footage. They have to cool. And then we're going to sprinkle fairy dust on them. I mean, confectioner's sugar. I'm going to take some of this powdered sugar, because I don't think I'm going to use a whole lot of it. And just pour it in here. And one of the things I like to do is take this little thing, because I don't have a sifter or anything. So what I'm going to do here is like pour this in here and start shaking it over the cookies. Like this.
Shaking like a Polaroid picture.
And let's just make a big mess everywhere too. That's also par for the course. We like to make a mess in the kitchen because when we make a mess in the kitchen, usually it means we're making something good. So you know, you want to, of course you probably don't want to over powder these guys because you want to be able to see like the little shapes and the designs and like these little googly eyes and stuff like that. So there you have it. Mamu. Alright guys, you want to dig in? Here's the finished product, Mamoul, complete with powdered sugar, walnuts on the inside. It's not a dirty word, and we're gonna watch me get it all over my face. Okay.
Nice.
Wow, that's really good.
Like Sid's very tentative here.
Just like Mom used to make. Seriously,
That's good.
pretty good. Oh no, I'm allergic to nuts.
You got your EpiPen?
Oh crap. We didn't put anything in these, by the way, that might make us act weird.
So you decided to wear it anyway.